Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United are set to make a £40 million bid for Raphael Varane. Manchester United are holding exploratory talks with Raphael Varane as he's considering his future at the club. Raphael Varane is valued at £60 million. Earlier on this season, it said that Raphael Varane was keen on a move to the Premier League. Liverpool have also held talks with Raphael Varane. It said earlier on this season that Chelsea were the favourites to sign him, and it said Chelsea were prepared to pay £61 million. Raphael Varane's contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. His current contract expires next year. He said earlier on this season that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Raphael Varane on one condition: he must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. The Spanish transfer expert Eduardo Inda said earlier on this season that Varane could be on his way to Man United in the summer. I'd certainly take Raphael Varane at Manchester United. The main explanations is because Raphael Varane is a world-class centre-half. He's highly experienced. He would exceed expectations in the Premier League, and he'd complement Harry Maguire in our back line. Raphael Varane has got a good pedigree behind him as a player. He's won 18 major honours at Real Madrid. And he's been a long servant at Real Madrid. He's endured 10 years with them. He's made over 300 appearances in all competitions. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. We went in for Raphael Varane 10 years ago. But yeah, we are in search for a centre-half, despite Eric Bailly signing a new contract not so long ago. Now, Manchester United could use Jesse Lingard to buy Jadon Sancho, because it says that Borussia Dortmund are interested in Jesse Lingard. Lingard is on loan at the moment at West Ham. Since he's gone out on loan to West Ham, he has made a fantastic impact. Obviously, West Ham want to get him permanently. The reason we loaned Jesse Lingard out in January is because he got frozen out of our squad. Now, it recently said that we want to complete a deal for Sancho before the European Championship. He said we're set to offer around £77 million. Earlier on this season, Borussia Dortmund did confirm that they've got a gentleman's agreement with Sancho over the possible transfer. And he said Borussia Dortmund lowered their asking price for Sancho to around £78 million. The Manchester Evening News said not so long ago that Sancho is pushing for a transfer out of Dortmund this summer, and he wants to make a move to Manchester United. Sancho admitted not so long ago that he's unsure where his future lies. Jadon Sancho's preference would be to leave Dortmund and go to a team in the Champions League. And Fabrizio Romano said that Jadon Sancho would be 100% happy to join Manchester United this summer, because he did mention that Sancho was keen on the move to Man United last summer. Earlier on this season, Dortmund admitted that they'll sell Sancho for the right price this summer, and Dortmund's CEO revealed that the club will discuss exceptional offers for the winner. There's a few clubs in for Sancho. Obviously, we're in for him. Liverpool are in for him. Chelsea are in for him. And Bayern Munich recently entered the race. Now, last summer, Jadon Sancho was our number one priority target. The main explanation we didn't get him is because we was reluctant to meet Dortmund's 108 million valuation. We was only willing to pay so much up front. But last summer, Sancho to Man United was extremely close because it said the personal terms had been agreed, a contract had been agreed, and the agent fees had been agreed. It got made clear to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. And Fabrizio Romano, he's spoken a lot about the Sancho saga, and so too has Bill's Christian Falk. This has been Sancho's fourth season at Dortmund. Analysing the vast majority of his career, he has been very, very consistent. He has enjoyed a couple of bad periods. Dortmund got him for next to nothing. They paid just £8 million for him from Man City. And he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2023. He said not so long ago we was looking at Kingsley Coman as an alternative to Sancho. Obviously, you know the news regarding Harry Kane from Tottenham. We fear that we could lose out on Harry Kane forever if we don't sign him this summer. Now, Harry Kane is ready to ask Tottenham to listen to transfer offers this summer. He recently said the Glazers are planning to sanction a £90 million bid. I'm very, very sceptical that £90 million will be enough to convince Tottenham to offload him, because Daniel Levy, Tottenham's chairman, said not so long ago that Tottenham will consider offers starting at 125 million for Kane. Kane said quite a few weeks ago that he wants to win team trophies. He said that after Tottenham's Carabao Cup defeat to Man City. Tottenham have not won a trophy for 13 years, and Kane said earlier on this season that he will ask to leave Tottenham if Tottenham fail to qualify for the Champions League. He said he's decided that he wants to stay in the Premier League if he decides to leave Tottenham, and he also said he's refused to commit his future to Tottenham. He's delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. We've been in for Harry Kane for quite some time. I would take Kane at Manchester United, even though he would cost us a substantial amount, because Kane would assure us goals, he can create very good chances, and he's well proven in the Premier League. Kane was recently leading the way for the Golden Boot. He's already won the Golden Boot a couple of times at Tottenham, reflecting on his good performances. He's been a long servant at Tottenham. He's enjoyed like 17 years with them. He's been in their senior squad since 2009. He's under contract with Tottenham until 2024. He's had loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. So yeah, Man United are in search of a striker despite Edison Cavani signing a one-year deal not so long ago. Yeah, Edison Cavani is staying for next season. I presume all United fans are happy about that. Obviously, Declan Rice, he's another player on our agenda. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big this year's summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. It's not long now till the summer transfer window opens. The summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fifth transfer window as permanent Man United manager. Solskjaer's made it clear that he wants good backing. I'm expecting him to get the backing he deserves because we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. We've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and we've got Matt Judge, and Matt Judge has been part of the club for a while. Solskjaer has not been backed enough so far as Manchester United manager, and in that aspect the blame stems from the board, but the board has been one of the biggest issues at the club for several years. I'm expecting Man United to make around 3, 4, maybe even 5 signings in the summer transfer window, and I've already identified the areas in the squad where we need to strengthen up. I reckon we need at least 3 signings if we are to win the Premier League. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now. And Solskjaer recently demanded more transfers. He says Man United need to strengthen up to challenge Man City. We're going to offload quite a few players in the summer transfer window. In that aspect, we'll generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. I think there's a good chance that we'll offload David De Gea. Obviously, David De Gea is now our second choice goalkeeper. We actually are looking for a second choice goalkeeper to replace him. Some Man United fans think it would be a mistake letting De Gea go in the summer transfer window, but I don't think it would be because I reckon now he's had his years at Manchester United and Solskjaer has refused to reassure that De Gea will retain his place in the Europa League final. Now, earlier on this season, it said that De Gea had made his transfer decision. He said that he's preparing to leave Man United and we're set to pay off his huge contract. De Gea has 2 years left on his current contract and he's on £375,000 a week. He said earlier on this season that would set the price for De Gea. It's £50 million. A few clubs have been interested in him. It said not so long ago that Jose Mourinho wants De Gea at Roma. I said there's a very good chance he will go back to Spain. De Gea has endured 10 years at Man United. I reckon he's had 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been here because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. But a few years ago he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world because he's won everything domestically at the football club and he's made over 500 appearances in all competitions. Romero, I'm also expecting us to offload him because he's like our 3rd or 4th choice keeper now and he doesn't get in our team, Sergio Romero. Most of his appearances have come in the cup competitions. Romero's been at the club over 5 years now. We got Romero on a free from Sampdoria back in 2015. We brought him in under Louis van Gaal era. Phil Jones, I'm also expecting us to offload him. Phil Jones has always been inconsistent. He doesn't get in our 11 and he's been out of injury over the year. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. This has been Phil Jones' 10th season at Man United, so he's been a long servant. Alex Telles, I think we should offload him as well because he hasn't been given enough opportunities at Manchester United. In some of the games he's been involved in, he's done well, but when we got Telles last summer, I expected him to be our first choice left back. Obviously, it hasn't happened. We got him in a deal worth £15.4 million from Porto. He said earlier on this season that Telles has decided to leave Man United this summer. And Calcio Mercato said that Juventus were interested in him, and it said Juventus were willing to offer us Adrian Rabiot in exchange for Telles. I think Man United should loan Brandon Williams out because Brandon Williams doesn't get in our team hardly, and he is our third choice left back. And it'd be beneficial to loan him out because obviously he'd get more opportunities and he would gain more experience. Williams played a lot of games last season. That's only because Luke Shaw had a couple of periods out with injury. Diego Dalot, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. And Nemanja Matic, I think we should offload him because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. And plus, I've got my strong reservations about Matic because he's always been a slow player and plus he's ageing up. The club made a mistake giving Matic that new 3-year contract. Matic has been at the club quite a few years now. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Juan Mata, I think we should offload him in the summer transfer window because he doesn't get in our 11. And I've got element of concerns about Juan Mata because he's lost that yard of pace and plus he's ageing up now. I reckon though that Juan Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years now. Got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. And at the first part of this season, he rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. And a lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial. You know, Martial is no longer good enough to represent the club. He's been out of form for the vast majority of this season. Obviously, he's out of an injury at the moment. He's been out for a while. Ollie is hopeful that Martial will be fit for the Europa League final. But a lot of players will stay at Man United in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. Now, obviously, you know the news regarding the Glazers. Our fans recently protested against the Glazers. That's the second time at Old Trafford they've done that. It was ahead of the Liverpool game. But this time it was a peaceful protest. I think there was only 2 arrests, as far as I'm aware. Obviously, we were supposed to be playing Liverpool on the 2nd of May, but that game got postponed because hundreds of our fans went inside Old Trafford and invaded the pitch to protest against the Glazers. Now, not so long ago, Joe Glazer wrote a letter to Manchester United fans. Not so long ago, Solskjaer said that the Glazers apologised to him. He did mention that the violent incidents went too far, but Solskjaer said the club need to take notice of the fans because you can understand the fans' frustration. Not so long ago, Avram Glazer refused to apologise over the European Super League. Sky News caught up with him in Florida and he refused to answer any questions. And Solskjaer was recently furious with Gary Neville over the Man United protests. Will the Old Trafford protests force the Glazers out of the club? I'm expecting more Man United fans to protest against the Glazers ahead of the Fulham game because 10,000 of our fans are allowed to go to the game against Fulham. Obviously, it's our final home game of this season. Now, it recently said the Glazers could be forced to sell Manchester United, but for only £4 billion. Before that, he said the Glazers have got no intentions of selling the club, and reflect on that, they're here to stay. For quite a few weeks ago, our fans protested against the Glazers at Carrington, and some of our fans blocked entrances into the Carrington training ground to protest, and obviously quite a few of our fans were holding banners up. Now, Solskjaer said earlier on this season that the Glazer family will not sell Man United. And before that, he told protesters that Joe Glazer loves the club. But we get the Glazers out of Manchester United. It'd definitely be the right decision, because the Glazers have put us in so much debt. And in general, I hate the way the football club has been run now for a long time. The Glazers have been at Manchester United 16 years. They bought the club for 500 million back in 2005. So we've got to recommend new owners in. The Glazers are obviously trying to get a Galactico signing in to obviously try and stop all the protesting. Obviously, you know the news regarding Ed Woodward. Obviously, Woodward is standing down at the end of the year, because it got announced quite a few weeks ago that Ed Woodward resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. And I presume all United fans were delighted with the news regarding Woodward, because we've been very critical of him for a long time. I've already given you the reasons why. Woodward has had a 16-year association with Manchester United. Obviously, Woodward said earlier on this season, though, that I believe Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward, and he released a statement regarding the players and Solskjaer, and he says the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear, and in general, Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole, even when we was enduring them really, really bad periods. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he is our best manager since Ferguson retired, because obviously he's brought consistency to Man United. There is a lot of United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, and they believe that he needs more time at the club. I think he does deserve at least another season at Man United, reflecting on the progress he's made. But obviously a lot of United fans have been demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. And obviously they've criticised him a lot. They've obviously got their reasons behind it. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a long-term manager for Man United, but I hope he's a long-term manager for Man United, because I want him to succeed as Man United manager. But whether he succeeds or not, we'll still always love him, because at the end of the day, Ole is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. But Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. You know, before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles there. He had 2 spells at Molde. And before Molde, he was at Cardiff, and he endured a very short tenure at Cardiff. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. And don't forget, Ole managed the Man United reserve team for a couple of years. So he watched some of this team grow and develop. But reflecting now on Solskjaer's been Man United manager, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. Solskjaer's been Man United manager now over 2 years, and this has been his second full season at Manchester United. Solskjaer's just got under a year left on his current 3-year contract, but he said earlier on this season that Solskjaer agreed a 3-year contract worth 30 million, said it's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. You know, we did appoint Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. We gave him the job permanently a couple of years ago, reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. But there is a lot of positives regarding Solskjaer. He's done well in a lot of aspects this season. Obviously got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, he's got us to the Europa League final. The Europa League is our priority. It really is. We've got Villarreal in the final. You know, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first major final as Man United manager, and it's our 8th European final. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and Solskjaer said the other month that winning trophies can be an ego thing. But, you know, we win the Europa League. That's good. And that obviously gives us something to build on going on into next season. You know, Solskjaer did well last season in his first full season at the club. You know, got us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a 3rd place finish. We've enjoyed very good periods under Ole. We've got a very good away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We are unbeaten in our last 25 Premier League away games. We've been much, much better away from home than we have been at home. All our defeats have come at Old Trafford this season. You know, some of it, you know, could be to do with no fans there. You know, it's a different kettle of fish, you know, when there's no fans there because there's no one behind you, is there? Giving you the support you need. You know, Solskjaer's made good signings as Manchester United manager. You know, he has spent almost £300 million so far. He has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in, and I like the way he has promoted the youth. So they are the positives regarding him. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. The reason Solskjaer's still Man United manager is because he's a club legend. That's what's basically saved him. Disregarding being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been here now, because you can turn around and say Solskjaer was looking not to be sacked, because we have enjoyed very, very bad periods under him when he was very, very close to being sacked. You know, Solskjaer is inheriting players from other managerial eras. Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. The 3 managers we've sacked since Ferguson is David Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we also sacked Jose Mourinho, and we're not even really known as a sacking football club. Like I mentioned, we've overpaid for players in recent years. We've spent over £1 billion in the last 8 years, and we've brought around 37 players in since Ferguson retired. Mistakes have been made in the last 8 years as well. That's why we've been nowhere near as consistent as we'd like to have been. But obviously we haven't been the same team since Ferguson retired, and a lot of United fans predicted that it was all going to go wrong when Ferguson retired. But no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did, and no one's going to last as long as Sir Alex Ferguson did. So in that aspect, we've got to accept that. Obviously, Man United's next game is Fulham at Old Trafford. It's Tuesday night. The preview will probably be coming up for that on Sunday. We've got to get back to winning ways. Obviously, we've lost our last 2 league games at Old Trafford. We lost 4-2 to Liverpool recently, and we lost 2-1 to Leicester. And obviously, after Fulham, it's Wolves. And then the Premier League season is finished. And then obviously it's the Europa League final for us. We are guaranteed Champions League football for next season, as you all know, which is good. And we're probably going to finish second in the Premier League this season, despite us losing our last 2 league games. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.